Welcome back. It's still the big story on Quest Television, and we still have Barrister Emmanuel Ereri here in the studios. We're looking at strikes and demonstrations. Are Nigeria organized labor? Is organized labor achieving its aims? Today they're on strike. Tomorrow they're off the streets. On the eve of some days, sometimes on the eve of the start of or the commencement of a major strike action, Labour will release a statement saying that they have called it off after discussions with government authorities. Are these guys being compromised? Why are they on strike and still nothing is being done? Government doesn't really take them seriously. Is that how it is? Well, Barrister Emmanuel Ereri is still here and will be making sense out of this for us. But before we bring Barrister Ereri in, we want to go on a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will continue with the discussion and of course take your calls too.
Oh, yeah, follow the road, auto better quality. If you dey talk gas matter, oh, yeah, follow Benetta. Gas with the better quality, Benetta gas. Gas where they full rich man to Benetta gas. Delivery brother na sharply, Benetta gas. For Benetta gas, no mago, Benetta gas. Different type of gas cylinder, I feel like that gas we go last you well out. Benetta gas. Matter Benetta now do Benetta gas. Service in a them they run Benetta gas. Benetta make you carry go.
For gas matter and home delivery, make you wire Benetta gas plant for 080-6745-7890 and 080-5904-7722. Benetta gas plant, the tequila of gas matters.
It's colorful, so colorful, wow! It's Uzo Furniture and Interior Merchant, a leading name for luxurious furniture at Ultra Modern Super Showroom. Well stocked is now located near you for the sales and installation of long-lasting exotic and quality interior and exterior furniture for your living space, such as foreign Turkey royal chairs and sofas, glass, wooden and marble royal dining tables and chairs, conference tables and chairs, executive office tables, reception tables, orthopedic office chairs, etc. Uzo Furniture and Interior Merchant has in stock royal king size and queen size beds, wardrobes, mirror consoles, wall frames and artworks for decoration, wine bars, big TV shelves and TV stands, gym equipment like motorized gym bicycles, gaming chairs, treadmills, outdoor swing chairs, etc. All at affordable prices. We deliver with our vehicles. To make your home that cozy paradise, locate our super showroom along DSC Expressway opposite Platinum Banquet Place, beside Ugboloposo Junction, Efru, Delta State. Or call 0806-394-3198 or 0703-368-7179. Uzo Furniture and Interior Merchant for comfortable home interior furniture experience.
Okay, welcome back, and it's still the big story on Quest Television. Okay, Barrister, before we went on that break, we were looking at trying to compare, present Labour leaders and the previous ones. Like we did say, we referred to a former Labour person in the person of Nadafe, who said that the current bunch of Labour leaders are political Labour leaders. They've been compromised. No wonder they're in Labour today. Tomorrow they are governors of their states and maybe senators. So is it that these Labour guys have been compromised? Otherwise, the things that they are agitating for, which they called for everybody to storm the streets, enter the streets, pour out on the roads, government still has not done those things. They have given government a fresh ultimatum, and it is very likely government will still not do those things, and then they will call people out again on the street. So why are all these incessant strikes and nothing is achieved out of it?
My brother, you have said it all. The crop of leaders we have in the Nigerian Labour Congress, they are more of politicians. Like I said earlier on, we no longer have the crop of leaders we had during the time of Pa Michael Imudu, the pioneer Labour leader in Nigeria. The ideals and objectives he stood for, fought for, and actually actualized, they are no longer tenable in this present day crop of Labour leaders. Like rightly said, we have some who have become governors, state governors, who also would have driven home the points which they did as labor leaders. We also saw what played out during their tenure as governors. Some of them are senators. The same thing is still playing back. So I think I will want to make an humble appeal to the Labour Congress, Nigerian Labour Congress, as it is, that if they know that they'll be doing garbage in, garbage out with the lives of Nigerians, they should just remain silent rather than making people believe that they are fighting a just cause. In the real sense, we know that they are just after their personal interests and not the interests and welfare of Nigerians or Nigerian workers. Because the government as it is, on their own part, they are not sincere. Because if they are sincere, like I said earlier on, these are agitations that have been going on for years, even before they came into office. They be hearing it. Implement one or two things. These are our demands. Well spelled out. Agreements have been entered. They have even been signed. Implementation is a problem. Now, those agreements have not been implemented. Fresh ones are coming up. And other ones are cropping up. And Labour will just say, we want to go on strike for 2-3 days. Like you said already, after the first day, you can say that they just said they call off strike. The government said they will do this. This has been the pattern over the years. We meet with the government, we've had a roundtable discussion. Only God knows what has transpired during the roundtable discussion, because you and I are not there. But one will feel that with the way they are agitating or trying to press home their demands with strikes or protests, one would think that the aftermath effect of that meeting or the protests, in fact, they won't even go for meetings, so that the government will see the sincerity or the seriousness. Yes. Go for the meeting, you ignore them. You boycott it. Then the government will now know these people are not playing. After maybe 1 or 2 calls, let them take any action they want to take. Heavens will not fall, but let the right thing be done. It pains me that in developed countries, when pressure groups like the labor unions are trying to drive home their demands by way of protests or strikes, they give a longer period. And when the government sees their earnings or what is coming to their coffers dropping down, they won't tell them. They'll be the ones calling them, say, please come, I know that we have offended you people. We admit our errors. But however, going forward, this and what we're going to do. And you see the implementation process, even though it may not be 100%, but at least practical steps are taken. And the unions will now say that yes, the government to a large extent, they are sincere. And the worker is happy. But coming to Nigeria is a different ballgame. So that's why I said that this issue of strike protest has become a slogan. And the government is not serious, not taking them serious. Because those who are the labor union executives is just a jamboree. They go there, they give them 1 or 2 things, and they forget about the issue. They now come up and say, no, don't worry, Nigeria worker, the government is working. This is a recurrent decimal. It will continue.
So why is it that government usually run to the courts to stop labor from any, maybe, embarking on any protest? What does the Constitution say about this? Is the government right, by going to the courts to stop labor's strike action or maybe demonstration?
A responsive government will not employ going to court, even though going to court is the right of every individual or government. Because the judicial arm of government is created in a way that it is the last hope of the common man. And it is also an institution that resolves disputes between parties and government. Now we have like the Labor Act, we have the Trade Dispute Act, and also the Constitution, like I have highlighted a provision that relates to employment and order. Now, if the government only feels secure that, okay, by going to court and obtaining an order, that is what the only means they can use in stopping the Nigerian Labour Congress from embarking on strikes. Yes, they have achieved that in so many ways, but in practical terms, you cannot get that. Because even when we respect the sanctity of the judiciary and the orders made, the reality dawns on the average man. Now, like what is happening now, is that, like I already said, there are certain provisions in the Trade Dispute Act, which also prohibits strike and also provide for strike. So the government takes the one that favors them and embark on strike. Like Section 48 now of the Trade Dispute Act clearly makes provision for strike by area workers or by workers who are aggrieved. Then Section 18 now went to a kind of prohibit them by saying that you must explore some avenues, some arbitration or conciliatory avenues, also considered by them, the government, to address lingering issues between workers and the Nigerian government. And at the end of the day, this has been the pattern, and nothing is coming out. So in my own interest, I will also say that the Nigerian Labour Congress should stand firm in whatever cause they believe in. And the Nigerian government should not just be disturbing the judicial arm of government on an obligation they ought to perform constitutionally. It's just unfortunate that this chapter 2, as beautiful as the provisions, they've said it is non-justiciable, that the provisions are non-justiciable. In other words, they are no longer enforceable. Even though you go to court, the court will tell that no, you can't enforce them, even though they are clearly spelled out. But I am praying that this current 10th Assembly, National Assembly, in the process of amending the Constitution, they should make those provisions enforceable. Because this is the social contract that exists between the government and the people. So if you know that they are no longer, then expunge it from the Constitution so that we know that we no longer have them. So let them rule us the way, in fact, what they are doing is not different from what the military is doing. And even in worst military government, you won't even see this kind of treatment. That is the truth, because we have beneficiaries of, apart from the younger generation that are coming up, we have been through the military government. Even when as difficult or harsh their policy is, we won't experience this madness we're experiencing in this country. So the democracy, if they know that certain provisions of the Constitution are to be selected to be enforceable and some will not be enforceable, then those that are termed unenforceable should be expunged so that we know that the government can just wake up and behave the way they behave to the electorates who have elected them there. So now know that sovereignty belongs to them and not the people.
And not the people.
So it's a very simple. So the court on its own should also come out with pronouncements to actually help Nigerians and also let the government know their boundaries and their responsibilities. Because I think that because there's no pronouncement to that effect, or even if there is, the government have not seen the necessity to really carry out those responsibilities which they owe Nigerians. That's why a lot of things are going wrong. So they just feel that, okay, the only way that we could stop any protest or strike, okay, let's go to the court and get the order. You now inform the police or security agents and start harassing people. And the man is telling you that whether you like, you embark on those approaches, we will still pursue our demands. The court cannot be used to stop our demands. No, this is a national issue. And a national interest. In fact, the country is on fire, as we're talking about. Now,
let's look at even among Labour themselves, because a house divided against itself will not stand. And if you are a group of people fighting for a cause, you have to be united in fighting for that cause. And that's not what we see when it comes to Labour and TUC. And maybe, I think these are the two umbrella bodies.
Yes.
All others are subsumed under these two umbrella bodies. So Labour and TUC are not united. TUC pulled out of this demonstration because they claim Labour did not carry them along. And it's not the first time this is happening. Sometime last year, when issues like this came up, TUC also berated Labour, NLC, by saying, look, you don't go through this alone. We are together. You don't take decisions alone. You don't make pronouncements alone. Is the division among these unions to this organized labor, is it also working against them, making it difficult for them to achieve their aims?
You see, a house that is divided will not stand. Whether TUC, whether NLC. In fact, if not for, like I told you, politics have played into every facet of our life. The body we knew probably before now is NLC, Nigeria Labour Congress, an umbrella body that encompasses all other affiliates.
Yeah.
So the Trade Union Congress, as far as I'm concerned, which is I know that is a brainchild of some greedy and aggrieved persons who feel that, okay, because the whole thing will be politicized, okay, let us have our own. I may not be surprised that other unions will still come up, having parallel function with the Nigerian Labour Congress. But be that as it may, my own point of view is this, that despite the duplication of the pressure groups, which after all the Constitution provided for freedom of association and formation of groups, but they should see this as a national cause, putting the individual differences aside. This is a national. My brother, if you see the country, in fact, I don't know if you're experiencing the heat now going on in the country.
True.
Now, coupled with the economic heat.
The economic heat.
And other heats coming up. Remember, it only takes the grace of God for us to survive every day. So, the heat is too much. Both from the weather, the economy, and every other channels that the heat is coming from. So that Nigerians can breathe very well. After all, they told us that let the poor breathe. We are not breathing any longer. We are not breathing. If what we are saying now, you say we should breathe. If I'm my brother, we are going to have a lot of casualties. So in averting those casualties, the two umbrella bodies as it stands now, the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, they have to form a united front, putting their individual differences aside for whatever reasons, because I know it's all about interest. They should put it aside and see that the interests of Nigerians are paramount as we talk, as we speak. Because, my brother, what is coming, in fact, the tsunami that I'm seeing coming, in fact, even everyone will not be able to withstand it, not even the government. If you see what is happening in our neighborhood now, I think yesterday I was at the police station and I was told that some officers who were deployed to along to Ugeli Patani Road, that around 15 are missing.
How many?
15 in number. They are missing as we are talking. By the Fulani herdsmen. That they entered the bush and that they did not see them. As we are talking, the police officer complaining that they even narrowly escaped. So you can see that a lot of insecurity, and the primary purpose of government is the welfare and security. Welfare, we're in problem. There's serious hunger in the land. Now security now. Strangers in our town, they are making the place uncomfortable to us. So two things cannot happen to a man at the same time. The two areas that government ought to play a vital role is being currently jeopardized, simply because a fraction of persons or a group of persons have decided not to take it serious, simply because it has not affected them personally. But must it get to your doorstep before you take action? No. If it was a government official that was kidnapped now, you now see the seriousness of the part of government. But you don't need to wait for it to come to your doorstep before you understand the feelings and pains of the ordinary man. The ordinary man is suffering. He's hungry, at the same time he's not secured. So how does he cope? You sleep at night, you don't sleep with your two eyes closed. You don't know where the attack is coming from. And who are even launching the attack, you don't know.
This don't even come in the night anymore. Even come in the daytime.
Even in the daytime. Because so, both night and day, you are no longer safe. And at the same time, you are hungry. You don't have a viable means of livelihood. Or even the one that is even a viable is not commensurate to what the expenses, the responsibilities. That you have. So, these are issues that labor leaders should sit down critically and think and put aside personal issues among them. I know that a lot of issues are going on and it has to do with their interests. Money is involved. That is the major problem. And struggle for power. Okay, the government enjoyed it because when they see that the bodies are divided, one is for them, one is against, of course, they have succeeded in doing that. So at the end of the day, the major point
is lost.
Is lost.
Exactly. That brings me my next question. Not too long ago, in fact, a day after the call of the protest, it was on Wednesday, yesterday, because even though they called up the protest, Labour still, there were activities in all Labour headquarters across the country, and in Abuja, where Ajero actually operates from, he raised an alarm that the federal government is trying to devise a means of divide and rule, you know, to maybe tear the union apart. You just said something that I wouldn't be surprised if another union springs up, just like we have TUC. You know, so are you saying that? Yeah, fine, I know you may not be too sure, but do we see anything like that happening in the not too distant time?
My brother, you see, when government want to destabilize, they employ a lot of things, you know, and it only takes those who are deeply involved in the state of affairs that will understand where some arrows are coming from. The you that is outside, you just maybe just a normal norm. No. Now, because government now knows that the continuous press for these issues to be addressed will be uncomfortable to them. Mind you, not that they cannot address these issues. All these issues that have been climbing for all these years, there is provision for them. But at the end of the day, you find out that because they are not responsible to the yearnings of government, at the end of the day, what plays out is that they now employ different tactics to see that Nigerians' interests are not protected. So now the labor bodies who ought to be in the right perspective or position to channel these grievances, the moment government succeeds in creating more parallel bodies, you will now find out that the particular objective, the major aim, would have been destabilized. They won't drive home the point any longer. Now, while Labour should have a united front, like I said earlier on, despite the infiltration of government to see that they are no longer united because they don't want to meet up their obligation, they should jettison that approach and hold government responsible. Because if government is not held responsible and accountable, they will just go scot-free and things will become normal. That is where Section 22 actually brings few people in. He said the press, the radio, television, and other agencies of the mass media shall at all times be free to uphold the fundamental objectives contained in this chapter and uphold the responsibility and accountability of the government to the people. So I'm happy that this platform is created for such purpose, and I want to thank the management of this great establishment for keeping to that responsibility. Okay,
we will go on another break. I've just been informed that we should go on another break. We will be back, and of course, Barrister Manuel Herrera is still here, and we're still looking at the issue, and then we'll throw the phone lines open for you to be part of the conversation. Don't go away.